So this is an example that's going to load all my voicemails and allow me to play them back. Let me just show, you're familiar now with the Ribbit request block, which establishes all our event listeners. One thing I really like here is once you set the ID, you hit spacebar and all the events come up that you could possibly code against. I think that's really cool to have. I use that often, even though it's the API that I wrote. I still sometimes forget all the methods and events that it has. And then, of course, on this side too, once you do request, you can go request dot and get all the methods that you can call against. And so it's pretty cool. It's very, very helpful. And another thing I like too about Flex Builder is you can actually, when you hit control, the method becomes linkable, so you can jump, well, not in that case because that's in the API, but let's see, for example, here, we can actually jump right to the method wherever it else is in the code and dig in a little deeper. It's pretty cool. So anyway, here's the block that's going to handle our events. We have the Ribbit server connected, user summary loaded, gives us the total voicemails, call logs loaded, which tells us that all the messages were loaded. We're going to import some classes here, the Ribbit response event and the call tags for filtering. And that's really the most complex aspect of this code sample. Once we log in, we handle the server connected, at which point we're going to load our call tags. And then we're going to go get user summary. Once user summary is loaded, which is the event handlers handle user summary, we can then update the voicemail count. And then when we get all voicemails, essentially we're going to load messages. Messages, we're going to reinstantiate that, clear it out. We're going to define our tags, and we're finally going to call get call logs. Again, we're going to call the first 100, and we're going to pass this tags parameter. Call tags to 1 is actually going to give us all messages. Call tags to 0 is going to give us all calls, and call tags to 2, I believe, gives us missed calls. So that's a way in your application you can sort of show call history and bring in different information. As I said before, Beta 2.5, we're going to be introducing a little bit more of an optimized message model, and we'll be previewing that hopefully, if we have time, around 5-ish, if we keep going. These two methods here allow us to reach into the data grid object and pull out name and number. And then, of course, we have call type and get date for message details. So I think Wes showed you in the last example with contacts. We like to encourage I love data. I love binding. I think it's great. I think it's something great that Flex introduces that I like to take advantage of. So essentially, as message list gets populated with messages, the data grid sees that, and Flex framework automatically says, okay, update with this information. So let's run this. I'm going to close out these other instances of the older samples. And I think it's pretty cool too that when you get the SWIC, you can get all these examples and just be up and running, and then you can take code from here and sort of piece it into your existing or new Flex application, and voila, you have Ribbit going. So I'm going to log in here, and it'll pull, it'll log in, and then this button will get enabled to tell me I'm logged in, and now I will go out and get all my voicemail. It says I have 19, and it loads it in there, and of course, there they are. It's a very, very simple thing. What this example shows you, though, is how to retrieve the name of the person who called you, their number, and the date the message was left. And of course, if you look at the call log details object, you can discover how you can get other information like transcribed text. We have a cool example where if you mouse over the row in the data grid, it'll actually show you the transcribed text inside the tooltip, which is pretty cool. So that's a good example there. Simple load all voicemails. Let's show display photo. Display contact. Go to voicemail. So what this one's going to do is it's going to do pretty much the same thing. It's going to load my messages into a data grid, except this time, let me load up the design view and show you how all the UI pieces are spaced out here. This time what's going to happen is it's actually going to show me the image path of the contact it associates. What this one does, it'll load my contacts and my voicemail, and then from within the voicemail, find the number, look up my contact, and show that. It's pretty cool. So let's run this one and see what this one gives us. And I'll do this one, and then I'll get into some air examples. Dee-dee-dee. So there you go. So you see this image here, what happened is it loaded my contacts and it loaded the voicemail. And my contacts, basically it caches my contacts sort of client side, and it says, here's all the voicemail, here's all your contacts, and here are the images. As it loads all the voicemail, it does a loop against my contacts, matches the number from the voicemail with the number from my contacts, and serves up that photo. It's pretty cool because essentially, not all phones do that. I wish they did, because you can also, you'd always recognize the caller by their photo, sometimes the number, you're like, who's that? Whereas if they're in their contacts, it's pretty cool. Just a little sidebar, I was at the TechCrunch Mobile Wars thing that they had a couple of weeks ago, and it was all about mobile and stuff, and it basically said that social networking is important, it's significant, but the friend list, your friends on there, your contacts in your Yahoo address book are really, they pale in comparison to the importance of the contacts that you hold on your phone. In other words, it's really the contacts on your phone which are like the really important people to you. I think that the Ribbit Contacts API is sort of a parallel to that. As people begin using the service and more come in, their contacts here will probably be the most significant contacts that they keep online, because those are the people they talk to. I just really like that example, and I think this is a good way to sort of show that and how that could add a lot of value to your application.